Welcome to this week's Transition Tuesday webinar. Cassie Pesce, I'm so excited to have you. We talked a couple of weeks ago. You know the Three Rangers Foundation loves Wounded Warrior Project for the work that we do really in that transition space with the VA claims. But I heard about Project Odyssey and I had to have you on, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tony, for having me. This is just such a great opportunity to, get to connect with other, programs and resources. And I'm always happy to talk all about Project Odyssey because, it's the program I work for and I'm super passionate about it. So excited.
Let's do it. Let's hit it. Let's not bury the lead, as we say in the media world, right? What's Project Odyssey? How long has it been going on? Who do you serve? Give us like that elevator speech.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Wounded Warrior Project, we serve post 9/11 veterans. But with Project Odyssey, we can also serve the warriors, their families, family support member, and active duty as well. So we just try to get warriors connected with mental health support. So our goal as a program is to, improve warriors' overall well-being and resiliency through the program. But our program is really unique because it's not clinical. It's all adventure-based, experiential learning. So we have mental health curriculum that we follow, but like I said, it's not clinical. So we get to do some really cool hands-on shared experience with warriors and just kind of apply it to our day-to-day and how we can kind of overcome some of those mental health challenges.
Well, you just came back from a trip.
Yes,
tell us about that trip and what that looked like.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast. We had such a great group of warriors. We were, so I'm in Tampa, and we were just over in Orlando, which is fun to sometimes be able to bring warriors into our local areas. And we get to travel all over, but having warriors in Orlando last week was great. We did a bunch of different activities. We did some virtual reality. We took them to an interactive dinner for our closing dinner. So we do like a final night together, big send off, and we did medieval times, which was really fun. The warriors got a kick out of that. It was just a really great week, fun to kind of get to live being an adult kid and play games together, but, connect it to real life.
That's super cool. And I absolutely love your logo, right? As a special operator, former man of action, as we like to kind of be known. You've got all climates there. You've got all environments. It seems like, there's a ton of offerings with Project Odyssey.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Just in general, our Odyssey team, we help individual warriors, whether that's male, female, co-ed groups, active duty. That's all for individual-based mental health support. But then we also work with couples. So we try to help warriors and family support members in dual warrior households, just to kind of build resiliency in their relationships, build communication skills. And we use Gottman as our modality for that. Again, not clinical, but just a good baseline for couples. And then we also have been doing stuff for families as well to just kind of help with that, parent, guardian, and child support and just how they can improve their communication as a family.
All right, Cassie. So now for my people, I want my people to fill up registrations, and I want that to be a problem for you. I want that to be your problem, not my problem. But you mentioned mental health. Mm-hmm. So these just aren't join Wounded Warrior Project, get your VA claim done. Can I go to Project Odyssey? What's that triage to make sure the right people, right, are using the right resources at the right time?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great question, and one that we talk a lot about. Usually, what our goal is to try to get warriors connected with the best support that's going to be the best fit for them. So really trying to meet them where they are. So as people register with Wounded Warrior Project, they will have access to all of our different programs and resources, and that includes our Project Odyssey program. So it is a full 12-week mental health program where we get to support warriors throughout their journey of goal setting, building resiliency, and just connecting with other veterans in general. or other families, other family support members. So once you're registered with Wounded Warrior Project, if mental health support is something that you're looking for, then you would, either reach out to a teammate that you have connection with or go through our resource center. If you're already registered, we have weekly emails that go out that are called the post emails. Project Odyssey is usually listed in there. And we also have an app now. So the Mind WWP app is also a great resource for anyone that's registered to just kind of see what mental health support exists and what Project Odysseys are coming up.
And when we talk about mental health support, right, because that runs the spectrum. We're also a big fan of non-clinical. We're a fan of clinical for people,
right,
but everybody needs coaching, right? It's kind of a lack of humility to say, I am the best with my own brain bucket. If that was true, there probably wouldn't be brain surgeons, right? There wouldn't be clinicians. Where do we see people who are participating? I don't want to say fall on a spectrum per se, but like, what are we looking at folks who are looking for that connection, have been referred, or can someone just say like, no, I think this is for me, all at Wounded Warrior Project aside?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a little bit of a process to make sure, like I said, it's a good fit for everyone and that it's the right timing. That's really the big thing. So, when we have warriors that are maybe in more of a higher level support need for mental health, we might connect them with other resources, just because asking for a 12-week commitment and, a multi-day event to travel somewhere might be too much for someone at that particular time. So we always like to use the phrase, it's not a no, it's just a not now. So it's our whole goal is to just try to meet warriors and family support members where they are so that we can provide the best help. So if, they're in a good place, maybe they've had some mental health support in the past, or they're just kind of looking for more refresher type skills and they want to build connection, then they go through our mental health triage team. They kind of do an initial screening, and then they come to one of us Project Odyssey specialists to kind of make sure that we can find the best trip that's going to fit their needs. So nothing that we do is disclosed to anyone, and that's intentional because we're trying to build resiliency and focus on being psychologically flexible. And we all, as human beings, get really, rigid and sometimes worked up when we know things are coming. And I think kind of taking that away allows warriors to really just live in the moment, which is exactly what our goal is as a program.
Well, tell us some of the results. Tell me like some of the findings that you all see with Project Odyssey. I think the majority of our groups, whether it be Three Rangers Foundation, Gallant Few, like we understand that the community, being in a community, choosing to do that, and that active mental choice, there is goodness that comes out of it. So what have you found? Because you're continuing this program. So what have you found, and what do you report back as really the results of the program for participants?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite questions to answer because, I've worked in mental health for a long time, and it's rare that you get to sometimes witness, people's growth in a short period of time. I know people do years of therapy and, sometimes you can see kind of that growth, but with Project Odyssey, it's just amazing to see even on our trips, the people that show up day one versus, when they leave on day 5, like how much growth they've had and how many connections they've made with being around other veterans and, other individuals that kind of share some of their same experience. So I know for me, I love getting to watch warriors experience, a different approach to mental health. It kind of takes some of that pressure and, stigma off of some of the tough discussions that we have with mental health. But honestly, it's incredible to give warriors that space to really experience things in real time and, support one another in that process.
Leading up to one of the excursions, because we know the excursions are the things that are gonna, like, that's gonna, some people won't buy a car just because the color, it would match all their things, but the color, right? So this is like the thing, if you like hiking mountains and you see the hike or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So let me know then, the mental health counseling, you said it's, and we're talking about a non-clinical modality. Is this done in group? Is this generally individual before group? Is it a mixture of both, depending on what the warrior needs?
Yeah, we usually have, I would say, about 10 to 15 warriors when it comes to the individual Odysseys. We try to keep like a good number where they're going to be able to have a shared amount of perspective, but it's not going to be so overwhelming that it's, so many different people and, too much at once. So we've kind of found a sweet spot of about, 10 to 15, sometimes 10 to 20, depending on, if the venue can accommodate. But with couples Odysseys, we usually take around, the same 10 to 12 couples, I would say, is kind of our usual. So it's all group setting, but they're in it for the full program, for the full 12 weeks. So every cohort is unique. So we always say, even if you've been on multiple Odysseys, guaranteed, the experience was not the same just because of the group.
That's awesome. So what's coming up next? What's on your travel schedule, and what does Wounded Warrior Project Odyssey have coming up?
Oh my gosh, we have so many Odysseys throughout the year. I think even just looking at the numbers, we have a little over 140 Odysseys that we're offering every fiscal year. So for us, that's, October 1 to, the end of September. And we are just constantly trying to provide as much support, not just nationwide, but also internationally. Wounded Warrior Project also has an office in Germany. So we've also been able to have Project Odyssey out there for, our warriors that have retired or are still active, over in Europe. So that's been amazing. So that's actually something I've gotten to be a part of, and I'm getting ready to do that again in July. I have a couples Odyssey coming up in March. And we just, as Project Odyssey specialists, we're always, traveling, trying to fine tune our craft with trainings, but, trying to get out there and serve warriors as much as possible.
All right. And last question and this is last because it just shows you how dense Rangers can be sometimes. We always say that, family comes first, and we ask a question about the family last. So we know that once enrolled, that warriors can also enroll caregivers.
Yes.
So could a request to participate start with the caregiver? Could you talk through that for primarily in our population of spouses, female spouses, not all, but the great statistical majority? How would that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I have actually had the pleasure of doing a family support member specific Odyssey, and it's incredible to be able to give back to, those who are taking care of our warriors day in and day out. So just giving them the space to, take a pause and focus on themselves, focus on self-care. So we do offer family support member specific Odysseys as well. But what's also great about just Wounded Warrior Project mental health in general is that a lot of the same programs that are available to our warriors are also available to our family support members.
That is fantastic. That's really taking care of the whole team. It's something that a lot of our organizations aspire to do, but when you just come with resources and funding and can't. And so like our organizations, that's why you're on, to talk about what you do. Informing is the best that we can do to get some of our folks to you, Cassie. So I want to thank you for being on today. I hope you have a great time on your adventure. And we just encourage all of our Rangers, as long as you're post 9/11, go ahead and register for Wounded Warrior Project. If you're active duty, you're going to use them anyway for your VA claim. So get registered, see what's available, and they exist for you. Cassie, thank you so much for being on today. You take care.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome.